Go.
A very warm good morning to one of our listeners. I'm Arunachala from the Department of Artificial Intelligence, and today I'll be taking a seminar on AI tools. The agenda for today is we'll talk about how AI tools will be used for work, study, and productivity. We'll also learn about popular AI tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, etc. And then we'll talk about how to create prompts, workflows, and best practices. So, to begin with, what is generative AI? Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that can create new content such as text, images, audio, video by the existing data it already has. So it learns from the data it already has, and be trained in that. Then when we ask something, it will create something new. So it is basically like creative AI. It is generating newly, but the ideas are not new. It is already something which exists. It just enhances more on it. So the prompt structure should be role plus task plus context plus format. So these are the four important points that we have to take care of. So about role. What are you? What are you asking their content as? So if I'm a teacher, then I have to mention that you're a teacher. And for task, what you want the AI to do? I want you to summarize this. Context, what is the topic in which you want the content to be summarized? So you have to mention that. And format is how you want it. So as I gave example of a teacher, you have to be like, you're a teacher and you teach a class of so and so students. I want you to create, let's say the students are 30, then you have to be like, I want you to create 30 quizzes on this subject. And if you have any format, then you have to give that as well, so that it knows how exactly to generate it. I gave you examples. More examples are email writing, summarizing, and planning. The one I gave you was how to generate a quiz for students. ChatGPT for work and study. So does everyone here use ChatGPT, or have they at least used once? Have you all used? Yes. You have, right? Every one of you. Do you use it regularly? How often do you use? Can someone tell me how often you use? Anyone? You? Can you tell me? You, yes. Every day. So it is as common as every day. So we are all students. So for us, it helps us with our studies, and let's check how it helps us. So it helps to write emails and reports. We don't have much use of emails, but we have to submit reports, and it helps us greatly with that. And then summarizing long content, like suppose you have a you have an exam tomorrow, like a class test tomorrow, and you didn't prepare for it, and you have less time to prepare for it. Then what do? You go to ChatGPT, you take a picture of your study portion, you send it, and you're like, explain this to me in very simple words or summarize the content. So you can use it in this way. And then translating languages. So you come across a foreign language and you don't know what it means, so you can take a picture, send it, and translate it. Then creating resumes and SOP. We're all in our third year of college, and will be applying for interviews. So for that, we need our resumes ready, and ChatGPT can be a great help for that. The best practices that we need to practice are, so we ask for content to ChatGPT. It will give us a lot of content, but important facts, we have to verify that it is true, because at times it also can give false information. So it is up to us to decide, to verify if it is true or not. And we have to avoid sharing our personal details or confidential data. This one is very basic. It's been said time and again, if a random number calls and they're asking for something, then you shouldn't reveal it. Same goes with this as well. You don't know how it's going to use your information, so you have to be very careful that you don't share anything personal or confidential. Another important thing is we have to use it as a helper and not to replace our brain. We shouldn't let go of our imagination and our ability to think and come up with new things. We are only using it as a helper and not for it to replace our thinking skills completely. Next we have Gemini versus Copilot. So So first is Google Gemini. As my name suggests, it works well with Google apps such as Google Document, Gmail, Drive. So it works well with these apps, and this is used for researching and brainstorming. Next we have Microsoft Copilot, and this Copilot is used for Microsoft apps such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Again, it has an name, Microsoft. So these are the apps of Microsoft, and it is used for these. And Copilot is used for data analysis and data creation. So if we want to lean towards research mode, then it is better for us to choose Gemini, and if we want something creative, then we have to go more towards Copilot. Our next topic is AI for design and images. So what is, let's say you all have a presentation to prepare. What app do you prefer more? Is it, yeah, you tell. What app do you prefer more to create presentations? And then, which app do you use to create presentation? Canva. So we have Canva AI here, which has magic design, text to image, and blankets and templates. So we use this app to create presentations, posters, anything social media related. Like if it's an image, we can go to that and we can use the Canva AI given in it. It has a lot of tools now. The next one is Adobe Firefly, which is safe for commercial image creation. It creates high quality AI images. Before we resume with the next slide, I'd like someone to tell me what all AI tools we have discussed so far. Is anyone willing to volunteer? No one? Okay, so I'll choose that. How about you? Are you ready to tell? Okay, so I'm going to tell you the AI tools that we have discussed so far.
ChatGPT,
Okay.
Gemini,
Okay.
Adobe Firefly,
Okay, and there's two more. Okay.
CapCut.
We haven't talked about CapCut. That is over here. We'll get to discuss about CapCut. Something we use to create posters, presentations.
Canva.
Yes. Is there one? Yes, we're missing one. It was also discussed along with
Copilot.
Oh, okay, I thought you missed Adobe Firefly. So you mentioned that. Okay, good. Okay. Right. So next we are gonna discuss about AI video and audio editing tools. I have a question again. Does anyone edit? I heard yes from here. What app do you use? I cannot tell you. Yes, CapCut. And would you like to tell why? Okay, it's fine. Also, CapCut is a very, what do you say, not very popular, because there are a lot of other popular video editing apps, but this is more preferred. Yes, that's the word, is preferred. This is more preferred for beginners because it has AI in it, and then the other video editing app is Descript. So what it does is it has captions, editing, and voice tools. AI tools for captions, editing, and voice tools. And then the next app we have is 11 Labs. So this is audio editing tools. So what this has is realistic voice generation. We wouldn't have to give any voiceover. We just have to upload text, and that text will be realistically voice generated. It will sound as if a real human is saying it. Not exactly, but it'll try to mimic as much as we can. So next one we have is Runway. So this is used for AI video generation. So I'm not sure if you all have seen, but lately there is a huge surge of AI shorts, which is very rampant in social media nowadays. So that is most probably made by Runway, since it has AI video generation. You wouldn't have to do much. Just need to give a prompt, and then the AI will generate it for you. You will upload it, and then you will get money for it. So this is also a very easy way for money generation. That is, if your videos are popular, if you get more views. Alright. Okay, next we have AI coding and automation. So the coding tools we have here are GitHub Copilot. So we are in our third year of college. we're going for interviews, giving out our resumes. So we've all done projects as well. So it is necessary for us to upload our projects to GitHub and give that link in our resume. So GitHub has a copilot as well, and this AI, this gives code suggestions and also helps with debugging. And the next app we have is Cursor and Replit. So this is used for AI assisted coding. Next we have automation tools, which is Zapier. So what it does is, it will automate the workflows. For example, if you give the email, that will be content will be converted to a sheet, and that sheet will be converted into the report. So we don't have to do anything much, we just have to give it, and then we'll get the automated workflow. So next we have top AI tools. So there is a list of main tools and supporting tools. The main tools we have here are ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Canva AI, Adobe Firefly, and Capco. So these AI tools are used for writing, reasoning, planning, research, office automation, design, images, and video editing. So basically it covers text, presentation, design, image, and video. Then we have supporting tools. Supporting tools have GitHub Copilot, Zapier, Notion, Perplexity, Grammarly, and AutoAI. So in this we have coding, automation. Oh, Notion AI, I don't think we discussed Notion AI. So that is used for notes and documentation. This is also AI supported. And then there is Perplexity, in which we get answers and sources. So at the beginning we discussed ChatGPT to use for writing, reasoning, and planning. So if we compare ChatGPT and Perplexity, if you want something to be more accurate and academic-wise, then it is better to lean more towards Perplexity. And then we have Grammarly. I'm sure we all have experience with Grammarly. So this is used to check, as it says in its name, a grammar. And then there is AutoAI, which is for meeting notes. Then we're going to discuss about prompting cheat sheet. I believe we discussed briefly about prompts, so we'll go more into that. So prompts, it has to be very specific and clear. Only if we are clear in what we want, not necessarily strategy, the AI will deal with, that will understand what exactly we need and give content accordingly. And then we have to add context and constraints as well. What we need to be covered or what we need to be avoided. If we don't want a specific information in it, then we have to give in advance that you have to avoid that, I don't want it. Or if there's something you want, or let's say you want an information, you need to generate information in a specific situation. Then you have to tell about the situation and what you want the context to be, and then ask for a specific format. So you have to be specific the type of format that you want, especially if it is for official purposes. And then refine prompts are the first output. So you're giving a prompt, it gives you an output, so that output will be considered as a first output. If you want to make some refinements and you want something better, then I have to mention, like avoid this, I don't want that, make it a bit like this, or like if you want to reduce the length, then you have to, whatever it is, you just have to mention that properly, very clear and specific, as we discussed in the first one. And then give examples when possible. So you want a specific type of content, and if you have an idea of how exactly it should be, like if you have an example, then give an example. Then it will generate more better. Okay. Next we'll discuss about the best practices and safety. So I believe we discussed a few points before. Never share your passwords or confidential data. I don't have to talk much about it. Like, this is very common, not just to AI, like anyone. We're not supposed to share our password or give anything confidential because you have no idea how they are going to use that information. So it's just better not to reveal it. And then cross-check important information. Next is respect copyright. This is also very important. If there's something that's already existing, then it's better that you don't, you can take inspiration from it, but don't use that itself exactly. And then take consent before voice or video call. So for example, voice, let's say your friend, you're going to clone your friend's voice using AI, then it is necessary that you take permission or ask for consent before you do that. The next is using AI responsibly. This is again, I'm not sure how many of you have seen, but recently there were many instances instances where AI was misused. So it is our duty as, I would say, human beings that we use AI responsibly and not do anything bad with it. Our intentions should be pure and good. So to wrap up, we discussed about generative AI. So this AI, it will, you give a prompt and it will generate something new for you, whether it be text, video, audio, presentation, anything. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.